I'm Chronic from the most extreme wrestling, and this is your AEW Fyter Fest 2020 review. Yes, we've replaced an episode of Dynamite with Fyter Fest because we can break this thing up into 2 weeks, and it's going to be so much more exciting because we're taking what could be a pay-per-view and putting it as an episode of Dynamite. And not only are we going to do this for week 1 tonight and week 2 or night 2 next week, they're going to have another show, Fight for the Fallen, after that. So the hits just keep coming. I mean, NXT, they've got the Great American Bash. Big eye roll, but that's what they're doing. They're going to have a big American bash on the other channel. So what are we going to do? We're going to have girls in bikinis because it's Florida. We're at the Daly's place. And Chris Jericho coming out to counteract the Great American Bash with his Canadian shirt because it is, in fact, Canada Day, which is hilarious. You have AEW with Canada and NXT with the Great American Bash. 2 different countries celebrating 2 completely different things at the same time. But hey, you know, you got to do what you got to do. So MJF, he's coming out. He's wearing pink. He doesn't have his scarf on. Well, he kind of does. It's just, it's been embroiled or sewn in to his little pink jacket that he has on, or, you know, looks like a bathrobe kind of thing he has. He's got Wardlow in tow, and they're replaying the previous events with MJF, and MJF tries to preemptively start his promo but gets cut off by these replays, which was hilarious. So once they come back, of course, he's even more angry than he was in the first place, and he mentions that we're in a ratings war here. And I'm like, really? Are you really in a ratings war? Of all times in the wrestling world, you want to bring up ratings on television? I mean, come on, dude. They're like the lowest of all lows. And you want to bring attention to this? Why? Because people are actually looking at this and saying, wow, how low can they really go? That's really the war that's going on. But he says it. Other than that, like MJF and what he was doing, he's getting ready. Got to have him talk because he's about to wrestle. It's going to be MJF and his buddy Wardlow taking on Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Stunt is ringside. Why they didn't do this match last week and then lead it into singles matches, I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to have so many singles matches. Whatever the case was, this is what they did instead for their big Fyter Fest show. But it's a pretty good match until there was a spot where Jungle Jack Perry, or Jungle Boy, is in the ring, and he's in there with Wardlow. He hits a big maneuver and just waits for Wardlow to get back up. I mean, and he waited. He was like, yeah, I did the move. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I'm hurt. And then Wardlow comes down to plow him. So, of all things, and see, this is the problem I had with the matches. Why would you leave Wardlow and Jungle Boy in the ring alone together? I don't know, but that's what happens. I mean, these guys are going to be good. These guys are going to be great. They got a lot of potential, but you know, they're not just going to have the most 5-star match of all time at this point in their career. So that's where we're at. But Marco, he's ringside, so of course he gets lawn darted again. You think he would have learned from last week, but he didn't. Maybe he just enjoys the free rides because you're not going to get to crowd surf at any concert or anything like that. So, hey, you got to get your kicks in where you can get them in. And his kicks are flying through the air. And as we move on, MJF low blows Luchasaurus, but he doesn't win because of this. I don't know if it's just not as powerful on dinosaurs or whatever the case is. But towards the end, we see Luchasaurus. He hits a big choke slam and a moonsault and wins this match. And why wouldn't he with such impressive moves? Next, we're shown that AEW will be having a puppy battle royal, which I thought the commercial was the joke, but they said that's going to happen next week. So I don't know if that's the joke, that they're not actually going to do that, or that the joke that they're actually going to show more of a puppy battle royal. I mean, there's no way that they'd be able to do something like that, even with those adorable puppies that they had in the ring. I mean, PETA is going to have a huge problem with puppies just tumbling out of the ring. And I mean, I know that puppies have tumbled out of the ring in Royal Rumbles. Check back to Royal Rumble 2000. Well, on second thought, don't do that, because, yeah, Mae Young was a part of that, and that was horrible. But anyways, I assume that was just a joke. I don't know what that was a shot at. Was it being preemptive, like Raw being preemptive by, like, the dog show? I don't even, like, who comes up with these jokes? But it was adorable. It was more adorable than funny, I'll say that for sure. Lance Archer, he's showing attacking Joey Janela. I don't know why he has such a problem with Joey Janela. I mean, I know why he's got a problem with him, but I don't know why. I don't know why he and Story has a problem with him, because he just attacks guys all the time and has no problem of the caliber of Joey Janela. So it seems kind of ridiculous that he would go to such extra matters, but Janela's buddy over there, his tag team partner, he helps him out, Sonny Kiss, and we're done with that. Sheeta and Ford have a video package for their match that they're about to have. Oh wait, we're going to have that match right now. Sheeta is putting her women's championship on the line against Penelope Ford, which I assume this was going to be Britt Baker. Britt Baker possibly winning the title, but he got switched to Penelope Ford, so we can't expect a title change here. Oh no, that'd be horrible. But Sabian, he comes down to the ring with Penelope Ford and ends up getting ejected whatever word you'd like to select it now, because he pushes Aubrey Edwards, and look, you can't do that. This lady is the head referee. She's doing podcast, and she's involved in other areas there in AEW. So she's a very powerful lady, and she has got the position to tell you to move your position to the back. And that's what she did. And Kip Sabian, he leaves, but not only with himself, but with a kendo stick in hand. And I thought to myself, what is this man going to do with this kendo stick backstage? I don't want to think about it, but I think we might find out later. He did have the kendo stick and was smoking it like a cigar, which I thought was hilarious. If I had a kendo stick, I would definitely bust it out when I have guests and smoke that thing. But yeah, it's probably not a good idea. It'd probably make the smoke alarms go off. And yeah, and probably kendo sticks are not things that people normally had. But if I had a huge vase and I got like 2 of them and put them in a little cross pattern like this or something, somebody might be like, yo man, that thing looks nice. And I'm like, yeah, it's just my expert decorating skills at play, what you're seeing. And they won't even know the underlying tone of wrestling sprinkled in on that. That is what it is. So Sheeta and Penelope Ford, they have a pretty alright match here. And yeah, Kip Sabian, he returns with the kendo stick and tries to swing violently at Sheeta, but luckily she moved out of the way. I was like, wow, that's a little extreme, dude. And he throws it straight up in the air. I guess that was supposed to be like a whoops, it got out of my grip. But it looked like a very obvious, like, woo, up in the air. And Sheeta caught it, and then she used the kendo stick and hit Sabian. Sheeta, she hits the Falcon Arrow, a kick out, then she strikes with the knee, and Sheeta is still your champion. So that's a pretty good match. I can't complain too much there. But we do have someone who's about to complain. He wears orange. And it's not Orange Cassidy. Oh no, it's Taz. Taz has got his little handkerchief thing. He's got his orange towel. He remembered, his orange towel gimmick, and he's got that in hand. I guess So he keeps his hands busy? I don't know. Like, he's not going to throw in the towel, is he? He didn't really use it for the promo, and he didn't have it on his head. So I guess it's just like, hey, remember this? I still got it. I don't need it anymore, but if I get a little sweaty, I can use it on my head. So maybe that's just building up towards later. I mean, I know that AEW really likes to do the throw in the towel gimmick, so maybe that's what they're going for. I just hope that's not what they're going for. But he's talking about the paradigm shift. First of all, there's a video. I actually skipped a little too far. I'll get back to that. This is just a video package of Taz explaining the effectiveness of the paradigm shift and why Brian Cage is not going to be deterred by this. Let's get back to Taz in a little bit. First, we got Cody in the TNT Championship. He's taking on big blue tights Jake Hager with his wife Catalina. And they say Jake Hager, rock hard Jake Hager. And I'm like, is that necessary? But this is a match here with Cody. The championship is on the line. And of course, with these two guys, I expect this one to be highly entertaining, action-packed. It did all of those things. And then Arn Anderson. He's ringside. Brandy's not there. I guess, wait a minute, was Brandy on the show? I don't think Brandy was on the show. I must have missed it. I'm shocked. Like, she had to have been there somewhere. But if not, genuinely surprised. Arn Anderson, though, he was there. I seen him. And he distracts the referee. I thought they were good guys. And Dustin Rhodes comes down and attacks, gets a cheap shot on Jake Hager. And I'm like, I thought they were good guys. I'm so confused. Will they do anything to win? Is he Ric Flair? Like, what? This doesn't make sense with his good boy, goody two-shoes, I'm Cody Rhodes, I'm a role model type guy. And I don't mean a role model like Britt Baker is like jokingly a role model. Like, he's legitimately somebody you would typically want to aspire to. But he's cheating! So what is up with that? I'm really none too sure about said situation. There's an arm triangle by Jake Hager, but at the same time, as Cody is passing out, I don't know. He's there, but he pins in the process. Jake Hager thinks that he won the TNT Championship, but he has not, because Cody Rhodes got the pinfall. And he's pretty upset about this. And the referee, which I've never seen this referee before. I don't know if this is just some new guy or whatever, but whoever he was, we may not see him again. Why? Because he got knocked out. And that was the end of that situation. We're shown a black and white video. It's Darby Allin. He's not medically cleared. He's doing a zip line, drop kicking folks, doing backflips onto skateboards, doing tricks. Dudes are on fire doing skateboard things. I don't know if this is a typical scenario that skateboarders do. It's not really my scene, although there is a pretty cool skate park that is not too far away from me, but I don't have a skateboard and I can't skateboard. So I'd look like a damn fool trying to go over there and try to do anything like this. And some might argue that doing backflips onto a skateboard where you could easily fall, or setting yourself on fire and doing drop kicks and falling on the floor is not smart, but it's damn impressive. And nobody is going to rip off Darby Allin. He is his own person. So whether you like it or not, this man stands out. And to make it in the wrestling business, you got to stand out. You got to be interesting. And Darby Allin is all of those things, even if he's not wearing all of his face paint during all of these videos. I guess we'll just understand that he's a normal guy. I don't really like that. I wish he would be wearing his face paint at all times when he's doing crazy shit like this, because it's his gimmick. I mean, it's his gimmick. If you're going to do all your stuff, you got to wear it. Jeff Hardy doesn't always do it, but Jeff Hardy established that on early. Darby Allin, however, has been kind of half and half, And I mean, he's half and half on his half and half face paint. And I think you just got to have a little more consistency on that if you would allow me to complain about said details. We see a bloody shirt Cassidy make his way to the commentary table. Do they have enough microphones for him? Don't worry, he's not going to need them. He's just there to chill out and watch the next match of Santana and Ortiz taking on Private Party with Hardy. Yes, we're talking about Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy has literally become the Michael Hayes of the group. Oh my gosh, I feel so old to think that. But that is what we're seeing right here. It's like the Brood. It's like the new Brood. But Matt Hardy is Michael Hayes. A less flamboyant. Yeah, it's true. I don't care how many different gimmicks Matt Hardy has. You're never going to be as flamboyant as one of Michael Hayes' get-ups. It's just not going to happen. You can even take all the ones from the 90s. It ain't going to happen. Even the 2000s, the 2010s, 2020s. Matt Hardy, you're going to have to step up your outfit game if you're going to try to rock that kind of stuff. But it doesn't look like he's doing that for now. I see a guy in the crowd during this match do this and look at their watch, and I said, you gotta be shitting me. This dude should not be invited back. I mean, really? It wasn't just that he was like, looking at his time like, he straight up went. Was he trying to be funny? I seriously doubt it. I don't know. They say, you got to stand out. Sean Spears was on a podcast recently, and he's like, even if you're in the crowd, you got to steal the show. That's not the way you steal it. If that's the argument I'm going to hear, then no. That dude was just checking his time to see how much longer this freaking match was going to take. But it was a good match, so he was missing out, unfortunately. But Private Party wins. I don't know why both tag teams were wearing red, but they totally were. And yeah, the party wins in an age of record low parties around the world. Jericho tosses water in the face of Cassidy because we got to find some way to get Cassidy out of here. And the guys, they look like they're about to fight. It gets broken up. Before the beatdown, we have a Page and Omega promo. They are the tag team champions. Nothing special said there. Now we get to the Taz thing. He cuts a promo for Cage and says Moxley can't wrestle because of concerns about the virus and testing and all this kind of stuff. But Bryan isn't sweating it, but he looks like he's sweating it because what does this mean for him and his push? What are they going to do? So is Moxley just going to surprise show up next week? Probably not, knowing that his wife Renee Young tested positive, and that's a problem. We don't want to contaminate both AEW and NXT or WWE as a whole. That would be a bad thing, absolutely, for sure. So what are we going to do with Cage? Well, we might have something next week, but it ain't happening now. Now we got the Best Friends being dropped off by Trent's mom versus Omega and Page. This is the Tag Team Championship match, and it is the main event. And I almost fit all my notes on this last page, but I didn't get it all in there. So unfortunately, some space has been wasted. How will I ever recover these pages? All right. So, it said on Page's nameplate that he was afraid of saying the S word. Are they freaking talking about the S word that they say at least twice here on AEW every week? I assume that's what they're talking about. Little inside jokes. I'm all right with that. Now, Trent, he's looking all right, but Chuck Taylor, that dad bod is killing me. And Trent, by the way, he's kind of losing his six pack a little bit. And, I think a lot of people are who are stuck at home or whatever the case is. When you can't get to the gym like you used to and really get out there and bust it, it can be a problem in the stomach area. I understand. Okay. So, they have a pretty alright match. I really like Omega and Page, but it almost seems like it kind of seems like some of their matches are, I don't want to say they're the same. I'm not even going to say that. But they have pretty much the same level of intensity. They have the same level of stuff going on. It's just that I kind of feel like I've seen their matches, and sometimes I wish they'd throw a little more variety. And I'm not talking about just moving the moves around or having a different finish, but they're just so crazy fast, and sometimes they need a little bit more room to breathe, in my opinion. Maybe it was just the fact that this felt like a regular episode of Dynamite, minus the promos and the interesting development and stuff like that. So I'm kind of concerned of how the ratings are actually going to come out for this, and the viewership might be all right this week because it's a special show, but next week, I don't know, man. I mean, if Moxley's not even going to be there and he's your champion, I understand the reasoning, but still, got to find something else to replace the interest with. There is a big lariat and a brainbuster, but these dudes are still alive. More and more false finishes. Of course, buckshot lariat, Page and Omega, they're still the champions. FTR, some point in this match, they decided they were going to join the stage area and watch this match. They brought their own chairs and they brought their own root beers. It didn't have a label on it, so maybe they were beers. Not too sure. The announcers were very confident that it was in fact alcoholic beverages there late night. So FTR, I guess they like the match, so they share a beer. They're like, hey man, well here's a beer. Want to drink with us? And then Omega pours his beer out after they toast, and then Hangman Page is just kind of drinking his beers because he likes beers. My problem with this segment is that FTR, I'm going to complain about this. When they had their, when they gave them the beers, it just didn't feel sincere. It was just like, hey man, here's your beers. There was no like, hey man, that was a good match. You know what, man, that was a good match. You deserve a beer. It was just like, we're in the ring, we have beers, here's beers. It just kind of felt flat. That's just me. And Omega pours his out because I guess he doesn't like beers. He's straight edge. I know he drinks milk. I mean, whatever the case is, he pours it out in an act of defiance. And I'm like, why does he have such a problem with FTR? I mean, to the point where you're going to just pour their beer out with your back turned? I mean, golly, that is disrespectful as crap. They start getting into it, and then the Young Bucks, of course, they were ready to go. They come and they stop because the Young Bucks got to save the day. I mean, dang, if we can't have Brandy, we dang sure better have the Young Bucks come out and save the day, because that's exactly what we need. But that was Fyter Fest, week 1, day 1. That's it. Next week, we have part 2, and that's the end of Fyter Fest. It should be a big culmination. It should be a big show, and then the week after that we have Fight for the Fallen. So that was this week of Fyter Fest, and I will catch you guys next time.